So, I've just finished taking a yoga and breathwork and meditation session outdoors on the grass, and one of the great benefits of doing yoga and meditation first thing in the morning with the sunrise, and we've talked before about the benefits of seeing the sunrise, is getting our bare feet on the dewy grass. And what that does is we now call it earthing or grounding. And what that does is it connects us with the Earth's natural electromagnetic frequency known as the Schumann resonance, which happens to be 10 hertz, which so happens to be exactly the same hertz as the natural electromagnetic frequencies of our body and brain. So we're reconnecting with the Earth, we're grounding ourselves. And now what we're doing is we have hiked into the bush and we're going to do some cold thermogenesis in a waterfall, which I'm going to show you in a second. And the benefits of cold thermogenesis are amazing. And what we're also going to do is, before we get in the cold water, is we're going to do some breath work and meditation, because not only is the goal to get cold, and I'll talk about why that helps in a second. I'm just crossing the creek without trying to fall on my face on wet rocks. What the breath work and meditation does is it prolongs our ability in the cold, and the longer we can tolerate the cold for, the more chance we get to learn how to control our autonomic nervous system. And if we can control our autonomic nervous system, we get a chance to also be able to control our immune system. So there's meditation and breathwork benefits, and there's also benefits of the cold, which is to boost our mitochondrial function. And we now know from research that probably at least 90% of chronic degenerative diseases. There's a waterfall all to ourselves, completely isolated, stunning waterfall. The benefit of cold thermogenesis, boosting the mitochondria. 90% of chronic degenerative disease caused by mitochondrial dysfunction. It also expands our microbiome, because our microbiome expands to keep us warm. It also exercises our endothelium, which is the largest organ in the body, which is the muscle layer on the inside of our blood vessels, and it converts white fat to brown fat. White fat is the storage fat, brown fat is the metabolic fat. So we store less energy and we burn more energy. And we also know that the hormone leptin, which is the fat control hormone, most people who are overweight have got leptin resistance because their body is saying you need to lose weight. So leptin is screaming at their brain, but the brain can't hear it. What we now know is that by getting in the cold water, we decrease leptin resistance. If you've got normal levels of leptin, then you grow nerves into the brown fat, which stimulate the mitochondria to burn the energy. So cold thermogenesis decreases leptin resistance. It grows blood vessels into the brown fat to stimulate the mitochondria to burn energy, so we get more energy, less storage fat, better function of the mitochondria, and better immune systems, and better blood pressure and endothelial function. I don't suggest getting water in this cold. I think it's going to be, let me do my thermometer test, the Greg thermometer. I reckon it's going to be about 14 degrees. Let me check. Woo. Yeah, about 14 degrees. There is no need to go any colder with cold thermogenesis than 14 degrees. For my American friends, I can't remember what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's cold enough to get a good benefit. Because, I mean, I get in 2-degree water in Wanaka with Ben, but I do that for great Instagram pictures rather than benefit, because there's only a limited time you can stay in 2 degrees. But in this 14 degrees, it was actually really cold because the water is running, and when the water is running, it takes heat away from your body faster. So staying in here for a prolonged period of time really does give me a huge benefit. So I'm going to get in this water, and I'm going to go for my daughters for a coffee at a beautiful cafe out here and warm up with a nice warm buttery coffee to give me the healthy fat that I need to run on for the rest of the day. Have a great day, everybody. See you next week. Well, I'm finished, but I forgot to say 3 things to you, 2 or 3 things to you I forgot to say. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to get back in the water for you and tell you 2 things. One is that it makes you feel truly amazing getting in water this cold. It feels amazing because you connect with Earth, you also feel full of love for people in your life, and you also feel incredibly grateful. Now the other thing to say is I wouldn't recommend getting in water this cold unless you've done a course. You'll survive. Homo sapiens have been surviving cold water since the dawn of time. But we're not talking about survival, we're talking about getting a benefit. And the big benefit you can get is by staying in the water longer so you can control your autonomic nervous system. How's it like? So do a course, read James Nestor's book called Breathe or Breath, I'm not sure which one, about the history of breath work. Goes back at least 6,000 years, recorded and documented by Patanjali 2,000 years ago. The other thing that I always do when I get out of the cold water is that I'm full of gratitude and I'm very grateful for water. And I learned this from reading Tom Brown's book, Grandfather, about what the Apache used to do when they get cold water. So I always like to say thank you to the water, which when you think about it, how would we be without water? I mean, it's just such an extraordinary substance, makes up most of our bodies. So I always make sure that I thank the water for what it gives us just by rubbing my hand over it. And then I offer some to the universe for thanking it for providing this planet with this amazing substance. And then I just put some on my toes to end, to show my love and gratitude for Mother Earth, for the people in my life, and being able to do this at the weekends in such an extraordinary place.